Okay, this game is Steinitz versus von Bardeleben, Hastings 1895. Steinitz playing white, plays e4, e5 is replied, knight f3, knight c6. Now bishop c4, which was popular in that kind of era, sort of bishop b5, which is more frequent nowadays. Bishop c5, now c3. So less aggressive than a sort of gambit with b4. Still with the idea of constructing a rapid centre with d4. So knight f6 was played. So now Steinitz plays d4. So we have this check, knight c3, now d5. E takes d, knight d5. Now this is already quite interesting. Has black gone wrong here in the opening? Because after castles, black hasn't got an easy sort of plan here. He doesn't really want to win this material with knight takes c3. After pawn takes, bishop takes c3. White has a very powerful ideas here. Maybe one idea is just bishop a3 to leave the king in the centre, or maybe just queen b3. For example, bishop takes a1, bishop takes f7, f8, and now the vicious bishop a3 check, knight e7, rook takes a1. There's a disaster for black in the opening. So he's gone wrong in the opening. I mean, Steinitz has just castled, and black hasn't got an easy move here. What he did play was bishop e6, but after bishop g5, bishop e7, now white forcibly stopped black from even castling in this game with bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5. Now knight takes d5, queen takes, bishop takes e7, knight takes e7. So we had a long series of exchanges, but now with rook e1, black can't easily castle. So something's gone wrong in the move order, which we might examine later. f6 now. So black's trying to artificially castle the king into safety. Steinitz is not having any of it. He plays queen e2, and after queen d7, plays rook c1, and this is annoying pressure. Black plays c6. Now, Steinitz energetically sacrifices a pawn here with d5. So after cd, he's vacated this d4 square for the knight, and now threatens things like knight e6. Black played king f7, and now white went into e6, and now threatening like rook c7, and all sorts of other nasties. So black defended against the threat of rook c7. But now queen g4 threatening knight g5 check. All of a sudden this looks very, very dangerous for black. Black played g6 and then knight g5 occurred. So black defended the queen, which is not ideal. And now there was a stunning move, which can you spot? A nice little tactic here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The move was rook takes c7, with the idea that if the queen takes, then rook takes c8, winning the material. So black played kind of cunning move, king f8, because if rook takes d7, then rook c1 mating. But white returned the compliment now with an extra cunning move, just rook f7. So again, keeping this tactic, if queen takes f7, then rook takes c8. So now black played king g8, and now it's quite amusing that white just here plays rook g7. So even though the rook is free from two pieces, if he takes to the king, queen takes d7 and it's check. So avoiding this back row mate. And if queen takes, then rook takes c8 again. So black plays king h8. And now white just carries on with rook takes h7. So king can go to g8, or queen takes h7, would allow rook takes c8. Black, though, apparently just resigned and actually stormed off without shaking Steinitz's hand here. He was probably very, very annoyed by this game. Quite an embarrassing game. So what did he resign for? Why didn't he just play king g8? Let's have a quick look at this. King g8. White has here now rook g7. It's not a repeated position because there's no h pawn here. So why is this significant? Well, it is significant because now let's say king h8 here. White has a mate in 9, believe it or not, according to my analytical assistant, with queen h4 check, and now king takes g7, queen h7, king f8, queen h8, king e7, queen g7, king e8, believe it or not, queen g8, king e7, queen f7, king g8, queen f8, following all this, queen e8, knight f7, king d7, and finally queen d6. Of course you saw all of that. So, let's have a look at that again. But now let's consider, was there any other defences here? No, that was a forced mate. So after there, was there anything else apart from king h8? So let's try king f8. So what would have been the consequence of this? Well, there's knight h7 check now. So if king takes g7, there's queen takes d7. So that's winning. So what does black do after knight h7? If king e8, unfortunately there's just queen takes d7. So that's why his opponent was probably very annoyed by this game and resigned after this rook h7. So that was a brilliant game by Steinitz, and that combination is extremely memorable. Excellent.